Hello learners. So today we will be studying about the other part of the joins. In the previous vlog we have studied about the equi join, and in this tutorial we will be studying about the outer join, self join, as well as a non-equi join. And also we will understand about how to join more than two tables together and retrieve the data. So those who are keen to learn about what and how a join works and the different kind of joins with examples, please do watch my vlog, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment about how do you like the vlog. And also, after watching the entire tutorial, if you have any kind of doubts, please do mention in the comments box so that I can clear all your doubts. Let's get started. In this tutorial, I will be showing you about how to use table aliases. In my previous vlog, I have used table names instead of table aliases, prefixing the column names when joining more than one table to avoid the column ambiguity. Column ambiguity means, let me repeat it once again. Suppose there is a column name in table 1 and in table 2 you have the same column name, and you need to display both the columns in the select clause of the query, and you are joining table 1 with table 2. In these scenarios, the SQL parser gets confused that from which table the column is being referred, as both the table column names are same. In those scenarios, we prefix the column names with table names or else with table aliases. Now let me show you an example of table alias. Select e.employee ID, e.last name, e.department ID, then d.department ID, d.location ID, from employees E, comma, departments D, where E dot department ID is equal to D dot department ID. Okay, so here what this query is executing, it is executing the employee ID, last name, department ID from the employees table, and the department ID and the location ID from the departments table of those records whose department ID values of the employees table matches the department ID values of the departments table. So here this E and the D, which I have written after the employees table name and the departments table name, are the table alias. Now in the previous vlog, what we have done in such scenarios, we have written the entire table name like departments, like employees. So now if you have to write a big SQL query, so writing the entire table name, prefixing the column names is really tiresome. Therefore, we use table aliases which represents these big table names. So once we use the table alias, instead of writing or prefixing the table name before the column name, we can only prefix the table alias, which is much easier, and also it is very, means it provides a good clarity. Like if you write the entire table name, so the entire query looks very clumsy, and if you use only the table alias, so that becomes very like little clumsy, more understandable, readable, and the clarity is also better. That is looking at the SQL query. Both the queries, if you use the table name or the table alias yields the same result. So there is no difference in using the table alias name or the table name, prefixing the column names. So here you see that the employees table column name department ID and the departments table column name department ID both are same. Now if we do not use any kind of table alias or we do not use any kind of table names specifically before these two columns, then the SQL parser will get confused that which tables department IDs are being referred to. So I hope that you have understood that what is the functionality of table aliases, and also you have understood the output of this SQL query. Now friends, let me show you how to join more than two tables. Till yet you have seen how to join two tables. Now how to join more than two tables. One thing to keep in mind that to join n tables together, you need a minimum of n-1 join conditions. For example, to join 3 tables, you require a minimum of 2 joins to be performed. Now let us see by an example. Select e.lastname, d.department name, l.city from employees E, this is the table alias, then departments D, then locations L, where E.department ID is equal to D.department ID and D.location ID is equal to L.location ID. Okay, so this is the output of this SQL query. So here what is happening in this SQL query, we are fetching the last name column from the employees table, okay, the department name column from the departments table, and the city column from the locations table. Now here we have 3 tables and we have performed 2 joins. So as I have just explained a bit earlier that to join n tables together, you need a minimum of n-1 joins. That means minimum 2 joins, as there are 3 tables. So there has to be 2 joins, and there can be more than 2 joins also, but minimum 2 joins are mandatory. So which means n tables means here are 3 tables, and n-1 join means 3 minus 1, 2 joins are minimum requirement. So here we have joined, we have performed 2 joins, that is department ID from the employees table with the department ID from the departments table, and then again against those matched department IDs, the location ID from the departments table with the location ID from the locations table. And here we have the output of this SQL query. Now we will be studying about non-equi joins. Now a non-equi join is a join condition containing something other than the equality operator. That is, in the equi join, we have seen that there was an equal to operator, okay? But in non-equi join, it is also a kind of join, but which doesn't contain any equal to operator. So let us see by example. Select e.lastname, then e.salary, then j.grade level from employees E, comma, job grades J, where e.salary between j dot lowest cell and j dot highest cell. Okay, so here I don't think that the job grades table does exist in this schema. Yes, we have job history. Okay, so actually the table name was wrong. Okay, so job, okay, let me try with jobs. Actually, I was not sure. Okay, so let me first query the jobs table. Min salary and max salary. So it will be min salary and this will be the max salary. Okay, so now let me execute. Grade level, okay, fine. So we don't have anything as grade level, so we can put the grade level as job ID. Okay, yes. So here in this query we do not have any equal to operator, that is we do not have any equality operator, right? So we can consider this as a non-equi join as it has involved more than one table. Secondly, this query will return the last name salary column from the employees table and the job ID column from the jobs table, where the employees salary columns values falls between the jobs minimum salary value and the maximum salary value. Suppose the employee table's salary value is 2000 and jobs table minimum salary is 1000 and maximum is 3000. So as 2000 value falls between the 1000 and 3000 figure, that is minimum salary and the maximum salary figure, so that particular record will be displayed in this SQL query. Okay, so let us consider this jobs one first. So here the first salary is 2100, right? So 2100 is of Olson, and if I go for the job ID, it will be ST Clark, correct? So in the jobs table, if I go for ST Clark, see here the minimum salary is 2008 and the maximum salary is 5000, and the employee table salary is 2100. So as 2100 falls between the job ID ST Clark's minimum and the maximum range, so this record Olson and the job ID ST Clark is being displayed. I hope that the non-equi join concept is clear to you. So now we will be studying about outer joins. We have already studied about equi join, we have already studied about the non-equi join, and also we have studied about how to join more than two tables. Now we will be studying about outer join. So first of all, let me tell you what is an outer join and why do we use it. Outer join is generally denoted by a plus sign within parenthesis, and you generally use an outer join to see rows that do not meet the join condition. In case of equi join, what happens? Only those records which are matching between tables are displayed. But what if we want to display records which are matching as well as which are not matching, right? So in order to display records which are matching as well as not matching, we use the concept of outer join. So let us see by example that how to use an outer join. Select e.last name, e.department ID, d.department name, department name from employees E, departments D, where e.department ID is equal to d.department ID. Okay, so let me see whether I get any records. Yeah, correct, we got. So here you see in this query we are fetching last name column and the department ID column from the employees table, and the department name column, that is from the departments table. Remember one thing, that this is the outer join sign. Now this outer join should always be only on one side of the join. That is, this outer join cannot be on both the sides. Okay, so you have to use this outer join either on the left side of the join or in the right side of the join. But here, how will you understand that which side, that is on the left side or on the right side of the join, we are going to use the outer join? This is a big question, right? Correct. Now, you will use this outer join only on the side of the join which has information missing. In this case, the department table has department name as treasury, corporate tax, then you have other departments, control, credit, shareholder service, benefits. But against these departments, we do not have any record in the employees table. So the information is missing on the employee table side, which means that we do not have any department ID in the employees table which corresponds to these departments. That is the reason why in the last name column and in the department ID column it is displayed as null, as we do not have record in the employees table. That is, we do not have any department ID, that is any value with the department ID of treasury to payroll in the employees table. Okay, which means the employee table is missing the information, and that is the reason why we have used the outer join on the employee table's department ID side, because we have information missing in the department ID column. Correct? We do not have department IDs in the employees table which corresponds to these departments. Right? To these departments. But these department names are present in the department column. That is, the department IDs are present in the department column, but in the employees column we do not have the department IDs. Therefore, the side, that is the tables or the table side which has the information missing, we will use the outer join in that part. And that is the reason here we have used it in the employees table department ID column side. Right? So if this query would have been a equi-join query, just take a look. We have a total of 122 records here. Now, if I omit this this outer join, we get only 106 records, and the rest of the records which do not have any department ID in the employees table but have department ID in the departments table, those values are not showing. Why? Because equi-join only shows values which are matching, but values which are not matching is not shown, right? So as soon as we put the outer join in the missing table side, that is in this case in the employee table side, we get the values that these are present in the departments table. These departments and the department IDs are also present in the departments table, but we do not have any department IDs of these department names in the employees table. Okay, so this is the difference between using an outer join and equi-join. We have another concept which is known as self-join. You can understand by the name itself, self-join, which means a table is joining itself. That means a table which joins itself is known as a self-join. Sometimes in some scenarios or situations, we require to use self-join. But yes, definitely in real world scenario, using self-join is very rare. But you have to learn it because you don't know that in what situation this concept you have to implement. So suppose, let me give you an example. Suppose you have an employees table, right? An employees table has the column names as first name, last name. Now, an employee has a manager. So that manager also has a first name and last name. So which means that an employee can be a manager, and also the person who is a manager is also an employee of the organization, right? So which means that an employee will have an employee ID as well as a manager ID, which means that an employee may have a manager ID, but every manager will have an employee ID. That is for sure, because manager is also an employee of the organization, which means every manager is having a manager ID as well as an employee ID, but employees may or may not have a manager ID. But mandatorily, all employees have an employee ID. Correct? So let us see by example. Select worker dot last name, concatenate. You have already learned this concatenation. Works for, you have also learned this. This is a literal, string literal, manager dot last name from employees worker, comma, employees manager, right? Where worker dot manager ID is equal to manager dot employee ID. Okay, now see here, both the table names are same, but the table aliases are different. Okay, so one is worker, one is manager. So here what happens, in the employees table we do not have a separate column for managers, and also we do not have separate columns of last names and or first name for managers, right? So we have only one column, and therefore we need to join the employee table to itself with two different table aliases. SQL parser will consider the worker and manager as two different tables only, right? Because the table alias names are different, but in actual both the tables are same, right? So here worker.manager ID, that means employees who are managers, right, must have a manager ID, correct? And all the managers has to have an employee ID. So which means that workers manager ID, that means workers means the employees manager ID is the manager's employee ID. That means here Kochar works for King, which means Kochar is the worker, right? And King is the manager. So Kochar is having a manager ID because King is his manager, right? Kochar is under King. So Kochar is having the manager ID, and King being a manager, they also have he also have a employee ID. So that is the reason why, as the requirement was to know that which worker is working under which manager. So, and we are having only one table with one column for both the manager and the employees. So we are performing a self join, which yields us the output of the employee working for which manager. I hope this one is clear to you. I'll explain you once again that Kochar being a worker is working under King. So Kochar has to have a manager ID under whom Kochar is working. So this is the manager ID for Kochar under whom he is working. And King being a manager is also an employee of the organization. So King is having an employee ID. So the self join is performed as that Kochar's manager ID is equivalent to King's employee ID. Only those records are being fetched. So I hope that this tutorial will give you an overview and understanding of what self join is, what non-equi join is, what outer join is. And also, we'll give you an understanding of joining more than two tables together. So, not only that, it will also give you an understanding about table aliases and the differences using a table name, an entire table name before a column name, and a table alias before a column name. I hope that you will have a better concept after this tutorial, and also do like, share, subscribe my channel if you like this tutorial, and stay tuned to my channel, because after this we will come more about creating natural joins, cross joins. We will be covering topics about the using clause, about the on clause, and also we will understand about what three-way joins are, and about what are left outer joins and right outer join and full outer join all about. To know all these concepts, to learn all these concepts, please stay tuned to my channel Future Act. Learners, in this tutorial you have seen various examples and explanations of those examples about different kind of joins. I hope that you have learned a bit from this tutorial and will try to implement whatever you have learned in this tutorial in your work field. And also the students who are benefited, or maybe, like, I don't know, like if anyone is benefited from my tutorial vlogs or not, but if any one student or learner is being benefited, that's a big achievement for me. So stay tuned for the next vlogs about other kind of joins, and also please do like, share, subscribe and comment, and please do not forget to hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching the vlog and happy learning.